Hello Danny, I thought I'd just show you the carburetor setup that was original. You can see here that this is your accelerator rod that comes from the accelerator pedal. Connects to this linkage here, and then this would go on a bracket which I took off the carburetor trying to modify it to push the throttle. See that? And so there's a limited amount of movement there before it jams up. And then this rod here goes back to the kick down for the transmission, and also to tell the modulator where the throttle position is. And so I tried to figure out how to make this bracket or this assembly work, which it won't. So what I've done instead, as you can see here, the carburetor is quite a bit bigger and the throttle is much further out from where it would be with a 2-barrel, and also it's so much further forward. So what I've done is I'm going to mount this here like this, and then connect it. This is the mechanism that a rod goes down from here down to the transmission. So I'm extending it by putting it in here. Sorry for moving the camera around so much, it's hard to do with one hand. So now the carburetor is linked to this mechanism, and so when you open the throttle, it moves it back. That is full throttle, and then I'll set the adjustment for the gap right there so that's correct. And that'll solve that problem. And then the accelerator cable with a rod. Let me just take this off. I have to drill this hole out to make it fit. I know the camera makes it hard to see, but I have to drill that out just a little bit to put it on there, and then it will, when you put your foot on the gas, it'll work like that. So you can see everything's working. And because this now will be too short, I'm going to put an extension rod to move that bracket that hooks up to the next to the firewall back further. So I'm going to put an extension on there. I just don't have the connector nut like that, which I'll get in a day or so. So that should solve that problem. I'm going to hook up this fitting here with a hose back to here. There was a road draft tube there which they won't allow in Australia to dump it straight on the road, so it's a PVC valve. It'll hook up to here, and then we'll put a fitting in here, and that will be for your power brakes. So that should make it all work. Today I'm going to make a mount to mount the engine on my startup run stand, so it'll sit there nice. And then here's the starter motor. What I plan to do is make some headers or extractors that'll run down from here. Another one, you see it's a big square port. I have to bend up some tubing to make that work. It'll come down here, and then this one will come around here, and then I'll connect it all about here somewhere, and then run it right under the starter motor, just out a little bit from it. So I'm thinking right about here. It's hard to show. Let me try and grab a piece of pipe. Thinking that it will come out something like that. This camera's so close. There we go, that's better. And so it'll come back something like that. So I want you to have a look in the car and see if that's okay, or whether it needs to be out here more, down here more. See, we don't want to make it too low. And I don't know where your cross member is. I'm figuring it's right here where the sump is cleared. So I'm thinking right about here will be fine. So same thing on the other side. Underneath the oil filter, something like that. So I just want you to check, have a look to see if we have plenty of room around here for bringing the pipes in around this area, and then back through there. make sure it doesn't hit anything. The transmission will be back here, so I figured down the side of the transmission will be fine. We'll take a look under the car and see if it'll be good that way. New coil, and I put a ballast resistor on it before it gets to the coil. And I got a pulley for here. It's a used one. I've got to sandblast it, clean it all up. And the only other thing is what to do about bracketry to mount an alternator. So I need to know if you're going to plan to run the original generator, or you want me to put an alternator on there. I'd have to make some kind of mounting bracket for it. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I've got one bolt here. There's nothing on the cylinder head like late model motors. I might be able to come off of this piece here and make a right angle so that I'm mounting between here and here. So I need to know which side you want it on, whether it's on this, your driver's side, or the American driver's side. It won't be easy, but I'm sure I can come up with something. Anyway, so here's the motor. Quick look around the shop. There's an LQ9 I'm working on. That's a small block Chevy. It's going to have a Whipple screw compressor on it. Got a couple of blowers back there for motors. Little 383 that I built. No manifold on it because it's going to have a blower on it. This is a 420 cubic inch aluminum small block Chevy. It's going to run a little front engine dragster. Run a little bit of nitro in it. That's a big block Chevy I'm working on. That's the engine that's on the stand right now that's holding me up from putting yours on, but that's coming off today. It's ready to ship out of here. And this one's going to the dyno on Monday. Today is Saturday. It's a 502 big block Ford. This one in the back is going to be a 557 big block Ford. So here I did a bit of port work on it. Opened the ports up a little bit. It's a roller cam motor. This is just a block, you can't really see under there, but it's going to be a Ford engine. The Windsor, it's going to be a 460 run on propane. The intake manifold, where is it? Over there. Where did I put it? Oh, right here. So you can see here the fuel injector rails. I had to make bosses to put the injectors in here, a little support to hold it. And there's a throttle body going on top of that, which is in a box somewhere. So, boxes everywhere, stuff. It's an oil pan that I made for a big motor I'm building. I'll show you a video of that some other time. Put a baffle in there. Try to make it as low a profile as possible. You can see it's a pretty big pan. Okay, so that's it.